This is the Trig Practice worksheet, page 14, number 13, and we'll do number 14. Calculating components of a force is important in this unit, and that's what this is. So here is a force, angled 28 degrees below the horizontal. It's 98 newtons. We want to do the x and y components. X component would be a projection from the tip of the force vector down to the x-axis, and I call that a projection of the force and onto the x-axis, making it the x component. The y component would be a projection perpendicular to the y-axis, making that the y component. So there's our y component and our x component. Now that component has a magnitude and a direction, and I could just put that y component there, or if I put it here to complete this right triangle, because that's a right angle, then I have a hypotenuse, which is the magnitude of this force, 98 newtons, and I know an angle, and I can figure out the x component and the y component, and I'm done. And here's the trigonometry to figure that out. The sine of 28 degrees is going to be opposite over hypotenuse, and sine of 28 is just a number. Doing the algebra, solving for y is 46 newtons. Cosine 28 degrees to get x, right? Opposite adjacent is what the x is to that 28 degrees, and so adjacent over hypotenuse, and do the algebra to solve for x, 87 newtons. So the components, x equals 87 newtons is the x component of this 98 newton vector force, and y is 46 newtons. That's the y component. Same thing goes for this force, angled 50 degrees, 450 newtons at 50-degree angle. Here are the components. Here's the x and y components, the projections perpendicular down to the x-axis and the y-axis. I want to get one triangle to work with, so the y component I will move over to be this side of this triangle. It's the same direction and same magnitude, so it's the same component. And there's y, so there's the 50-degree angle, and this hypotenuse is 450. The units are newtons, and with the angle and the hypotenuse we can figure out the x component and the y component. And there's the trigonometry to figure out the x and y component. Opposite of the 50 is y, so a sine of 50 degrees gets the y, and adjacent is the x, and a cosine relationship gets us the x component.